while Krishna was battling the demons sent by Kansa and was successful in rubbing them into dust, Brahma, who himself had been responsible for the arrival of Krishna on the earth, thought of testing his prowess. He was feeling jealous. After the death of Aghasura, Rishi Shukdev told Parikshit, Krishna gathered his friends and pushed them on Yamuna's sandy banks as a routine. And one day he said, my dear friends, the Yamuna sands offer a pleasant prospect. Look how soft the sand is. Touch it, hold it in your palms and feel one with it. This is our essence. This line is very significant because sand, silica, dust, everything is a part of our being. Here you will find all that is necessary for our games. Look at those pink, white, blue, gold and red lotus flowers blooming in abundance. Hundreds of Brahmaras are attracted to their fragrance. Here the bird calls so pleasant to the ear. The lush trees echo their music. Look at the lovely feathers of the birds, their colors and beaks, all different. Mark the brilliant colors of their eye sockets. Notice the speed at which they fly, free to wander all over the sky in any direction at any time. They ask us for nothing. Rather, they make us happy by just looking at them or listening to them. How selfless on their part. It is time to take some food, he told his friends. We are hungry. Let the calves roam around, grazing and drinking water at their will. The cowherds nodded. They took the calves to the river bank to drink water and then let them go graze in the green pastures. Krishna sat in the center while the cowherds faced him, making several rows of semicircles around him. I have included in this video a Pahari painting depicting this scene. Look at it and admire the meticulous work done by the artist. The eyes of the cowherds reflected joy at being in Krishna's company. Sitting in this forest feast, Krishna and his cowherds looked as attractive as the petals of a lotus around its core. They ate on banana or palash leaves. Some of them had brought their meal in stone vessels. Some ate fruit, others curd and butter on chapati. They cracked jokes to entertain each other. They shared food and fruit. Each one had a different preference, and every mother had seen to this while packing their tiffin. The entire description is so warm. It's so captivating. It's so real. Sitting among the adoring crowd, Krishna looked unique. He had stuck his flute to the left of his kamarband. His horn and stick were held under his arm. In his left hand, he held a bowl of rice mixed with ghee and curd. Yashoda had added ginger and lemon pickles and mango and amla preserves to his meal because he liked them. Look, we were making pickles 5,000 years ago. Not a mean achievement. Krishna entertained his friends with stories that he had heard from his parents at bedtime. The cowherds were so engrossed in Krishna and his storytelling that they lost sight of their calves. The animals walked deep into the forest in search of greener pastures. The young boys were frightened of the consequences when they did not see their animals even over a long distance. However, Krishna assured them, "You continue with your meals. I shall go and look for your calves and bring them back." Krishna moved fast, his hands still smeared with curd, ghee, rice and pickles. He looked around on hillocks, in caves, orchards and other places difficult to access. There was no trace of the animals because they had been deliberately whisked away by Brahma in order to test Krishna's powers. It had not been a wise act on Brahma's part. Having committed his mischief, this folly, he disappeared from the scene. Krishna returned to the banks of the Yamuna, says Shukadev, without the animals. He found that even his companions were missing from there. He looked around but saw nothing. He was a divine being. He saw through Brahma's game. In order to please the gopis, Krishna, with his celestial powers, created the calves and the cowherds in the same number and in the same forms in which they had disappeared. The boys were dressed in the same clothes in which they had left home in the morning. They carried their tiffin, flutes and horns as before. Thus, said Shukadev, Krishna, the universal soul and creator, transformed himself into calves and cowherds. He sent them to their respective homes and then returned to his Haveli. Rajan, the residents of Vrindavan were a blessed lot. Bhagavan settled in their hearts and homes effortlessly for almost a year. The gopis welcomed their sons who were playing upon their flutes just like Krishna. Fondly they embraced their children, offered them milk and butter to lessen their fatigue. The children shone with a spark never seen before. They were an avatar of Krishna himself. Their mothers thought this to be a result of hard work they had put in and the exposure to the sun and the winds. This continued for 359 days. Every evening Krishna returned to each home as their child and was pampered by the mother. This is the essence of the statement. He was there in every home. He loved them and they loved him without knowing that God was present in their homes. The mothers applied herbal paste on his body, bathed him and dressed him in fresh clean clothes and trinkets. They put a black mark between his eyebrows to ward off evil. They seated him on a chowki and fed him. Each evening the gopis showered blessings on their children as before, thus bringing themselves closer to Bhagavan. This narration is soaked in bhakti ras. The same drama of love and affection was being played between the cows and their calves. When the cows returned from grazing, hearing their call, the calves rushed to them for milk. The mothers licked their young ones and fed them from their overflowing udders. This continued for almost 1 year. Towards the end, 6 days earlier to be precise, writes the Rishi, Krishna and Balaram went grazing their calves on the Govardhan mountain. Nearby, the senior cowherds were grazing cows. The cows sighted their calves grazing in another pasture a short distance away. Impelled by their motherly instincts, breaking the restraints of the cowherds accompanying them, the cows rushed to their calves. Their udders were swollen with milk. It was a narrow path. Overjoyed at being reunited with their calves, the cows nuzzled their young ones. Soon the cowherds traversed the narrow trail and joined their cows. They were angry at first, but soon they mellowed and patted their cattle. We shall continue with this remarkable tale in Krishna Clones the Cowherds number 2 video very soon. Jai Sri Krishna. Jai Sri Krishna. Jai Sri Krishna.